You know, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get so disappointed when I look at the footage that I shot because it's all weird compositions and out of focus shots, shaky also. Like, how is it even possible that even if I have my feet in the perfect position and the perfect grip on my camera, if I would be in a video game, my stability stats would be literally through the roof, maxed out. How is it possible then that my shot still looks like this? How? I don't know how, but it happens. And when we came back from our trip to Greece and I started checking out my footage, well, I saw a lot of those bad shots because, you know, I was using two manual vintage lenses that I had just bought before we left, so not used to them at all. And yeah, a lot of bad shots. That was the result. Shaky, out of focus, the whole shebang. But you know what? I used most of those bad shots in the travel sequence that I made, and no one mentioned anything about bad shots or anything like that in the comments. So let's go over a few tips and techniques. Also one sneaky technique, by the way, you'll see. Yeah, so a few things that you can do to fix your bad shots. Now, of course, don't rely on these techniques. Always try to get it right in camera first. That should be the main objective, always. But, you know, sometimes there's no other way. Okay, and the first tip, or it's more of a recommendation, just use your bad shots without fixing anything. Because a lot of times you'll see that when you put a bad shot in a sequence, no one will notice that it's a bad shot. This shot, for example, the couple is slightly out of focus. See, the focus is more behind them on the background, but because they're moving and because it's not terribly out of focus, it's fine. And even if the couple would be even more out of focus, I would still use that shot. Because, yeah, like I said, they're moving, there's motion blur anyway. And you know what? Usually it's only you, the videographer, who notices these bad things because you're looking at your footage on a big screen and you're zooming in, you're pixel peeping, you know what I mean? And same goes for shaky footage. When you look at a shaky shot on its own, you might be like, wow, totally unusable. But if you put that shaky shot, that shaky bad shot in a sequence, all of a sudden it turns into a dynamic shot, like magic. Look at this shot, for example. And look, I don't mind some handheld shake when I'm shooting handheld, duh, but this is a bit too much, a bit too weird, but cut a short clip of this into a sequence and all of a sudden it looks fine. So a lot of times, how a shot looks and feels completely changes when you put it in a sequence. So definitely don't instantly delete your bad shots. And what about bad compositions? Well, look guys, we're not making movies here, okay? So especially if you shoot in 4K, it's absolutely fine to just zoom in digitally and then recompose your shot. No one's gonna notice it. And even if you're shooting in 1080, just zoom in a little bit and recompose. It'll still look sharp enough. Okay, and then finally my sneaky technique to hide the fact that you made a mistake. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that I also make a lot of mistakes still, and sometimes I have to hide them, but who cares? Here, for example, the kid came running towards me. It was one of those spontaneous moments, and while he was running, I tried to pull focus so that the kid would be in focus the whole time. I was using a manual lens, remember? But yeah, I failed miserably. And I ended up with a shot that starts okay, but then a few seconds in, the kid is out of focus, also the background is out of focus, but it's not out of focus enough to make it look intentional. So what I did is, I just added some blur in post, and then with a few keyframes, it looks like the shot is going out of focus intentionally. Sneaky, I know, but it works, right? Now, how do you do that? Well, I'm gonna show you in DaVinci Resolve, but of course it's the same in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro. But in DaVinci Resolve, go to the color page and add a Gaussian blur effect. Drop it onto a node and set the blur to 0. Then set the playhead to where you want the blur effect to start. I'll set it to right before the moment the shot stops going out of focus, basically where I mess up. And then hit one of these diamonds here to create a keyframe. Then move the playhead to where you want the blur to be at its maximum, hit the diamond, and increase the blur strength. And now the shot goes gradually out of focus, and it looks intentional, like I'm creating a nice ending or a transition to the next shot. And that's it. Now look, guys, this video is not about hiding mistakes or covering up mistakes or anything like that. No, it's the opposite. I want to show you that it's okay to make mistakes, and you should just embrace those little mistakes and imperfections, because no one's perfect, right? Wow, I feel like such a responsible adult when I say things like that. Like I'm guiding people to be the best version of themselves. Feels good, yeah. Anyway, I really hope it helps. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Salut!